I have many different favorites for different moods, but thing that should not be, Fixer, Carpe Diem Baby, Unforgivens, things like that.
I love the passive pickup dynamic, but I love the power and the active pickup, so combining those two.
James Hetfield is one of the most important guitarists in heavy metal history. He helped create thrash metal with his band Metallica, and his style of playing rhythm guitar changed everything about heavy music. What makes Hetfield special is his incredible precision when playing downstrokes and his ability to create powerful riffs that hit hard and stay memorable. His right hand became famous throughout the metal world for working like a machine, never missing a beat and always delivering brutal force. When Hetfield talks about guitars and music, everyone in the metal community pays attention. Hetfield once shared his list of 10 favorite guitarists, and the choices surprised many fans. People expected him to name only metal guitarists, but his list included musicians from many different styles. He talked about how he always loved rhythm guitar players more than lead guitarists. He mentioned that Tony Iommi obviously influenced most metal guitar players, and his list showed how much he learned from studying different types of music. The guitarists on his list came from punk rock, classic rock, and British heavy metal. This proved that becoming a great rhythm player means you need to study masters from every kind of music, not just one genre. These musicians taught Hetfield that power, precision, and serving the song matter much more than trying to show off your skills. Hetfield values tight rhythm playing and solid fundamentals above everything else. Hetfield respects guitarists who keep their bands strong without needing to be in the spotlight all the time. He believes that flashy solos mean nothing if the rhythm foundation underneath them falls apart. His list includes punk pioneers, metal legends, and classic rock musicians who all understood that rhythm guitar is what drives great bands forward. Starting at number 10 is Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols. Jones built massive walls of guitar power and showed that punk rock could sound huge and heavy. His approach to layering rhythm guitars on the album Nevermind the Bollocks created crushing heaviness by recording multiple guitar tracks with careful precision. Jones played Les Paul guitars through Marshall amplifiers and recorded each part with almost surgical accuracy. Hetfield studied Jones carefully and learned that combining punk attitude with disciplined studio work creates devastating results. Jones destroyed the common belief that punk guitarists couldn't actually play their instruments well. His tight downstroke rhythm playing on songs like Anarchy in the UK proved that punk could match heavy metal for pure power and intensity. Jones never played sloppy or relied on just enthusiasm and energy. Hetfield loved how Jones made every chord sound like a sledgehammer hitting, while keeping perfect timing throughout entire songs. What separated Jones from other punk players was how committed he was to making punk guitar sound both professional and enormous. He layered guitars like a skilled producer while keeping punk's raw, aggressive energy. Jones proved that punk and metal weren't really so different after all, and he influenced Hetfield's approach to rhythm guitar more than most actual metal players did. At number 8 is Johnny Ramone from the Ramones. Ramone played downstroke rhythm guitar faster than anyone before him and created punk's signature sound. His right-hand endurance and speed were absolutely incredible and seemed almost superhuman. Hetfield talked about how Ramone used lots of downpicking, just fast downpicking, that helped shape his own style. Ramone's Moss-Right guitar played through Marshall amplifiers produced buzzing tones that cut through everything like razors. Hetfield studied Ramone's technique seriously and brought his downpicking discipline directly into Metallica's sound. Ramon never played lead guitar or showed off with fancy solos. He focused completely on perfect rhythm playing for 30 years straight. His approach of using only downstrokes on songs like Blitzkrieg Bop required incredible physical strength and conditioning to maintain. Hetfield appreciated how Ramon made rhythm guitar the star of the show without needing any validation from lead guitarists. What made Ramon legendary was his complete rejection of guitar hero worship, combined with an unstoppable work ethic. He played the same way every single night for decades, without any variation or weakness. Ramon proved that mastering the fundamentals beats learning fancy techniques every single time. Michael Schenker lands at number 7. Schenker left the Scorpions and created some of hard rock's most melodic and powerful guitar work. His Gibson Flying V guitar produced soaring tones that inspired the entire new wave of heavy metal movement. Hetfield worshipped Schenker's records when he was a teenager growing up. Schenker's solos built from simple melodic ideas to explosive climaxes in a gradual and logical way. His phrasing sounded lyrical, and his technique was flawless without ever sounding cold or mechanical. Schenker could play incredibly fast runs or sustained emotional bends with equal mastery and control. Hetfield loved how Schenker served the songs while displaying incredible technical ability at the same time. What impressed Hetfield most was Schenker's tone and his ability to make every single note sing beautifully. His vibrato was wide and expressive. Schenker showed that metal guitar could be both beautiful and heavy at the same time, and he influenced countless metal guitarists throughout the 1980s and beyond.
Angus Young from AC/DC takes the number 6 spot. Young created AC/DC's rhythm and lead guitar sound and proved that simplicity executed perfectly beats complexity every single time. His Gibson SG guitar played through Marshall amplifier stacks produced the purest rock guitar tone ever recorded. Young's rhythm playing drove AC/DC songs forward with unstoppable momentum and groove. Hetfield studied AC/DC records endlessly and learned that tight rhythm sections create great heavy music. Young's lead playing combined Chuck Berry vocabulary with raw Australian aggression. His solos on songs like Highway to Hell and Back in Black were simple, memorable, and absolutely perfect for each song. Young never overplayed or got lost in showing off technical displays. Hetfield appreciated how Angus Young and his brother Malcolm Young created rhythm guitar perfection through their brotherly connection and telepathy. What made Young impossible to replace was his complete dedication to serving AC/DC songs without any ego or pretension. He played the same style for 50 years without chasing trends or trying to sound modern. Young proved that great tone and solid playing beat gimmicks and effects every time. Tony Iommi sits at number 5. Iommi invented heavy metal guitar with Black Sabbath and created the blueprint for everything heavy that came after. His missing fingertips from a factory accident forced him to develop unique techniques and different tuning approaches. Iommi's Gibson SG guitar produced crushing, doom-laden riffs that defined what heaviness itself means. Hetfield recognized Iommi as the father of metal guitar and the ultimate master of riffs. Iommi's work on songs like Iron Man, Paranoid, and War Pigs showcased genius-level riff writing combined with dark, powerful tones. His riffs were simple but absolutely devastating in their heaviness and impact. Iommi created entire songs from single riff ideas that he developed perfectly. Hetfield studied how Iommi built dynamics and tension through rhythm guitar variations alone. What elevated Iommi above everyone else was his role as metal's founding father and his endless creativity with writing riffs. He wrote hundreds of classic heavy riffs across decades of making music. Iommi's influence on Metallica's rhythm guitar approach was absolutely fundamental and direct. James Williamson comes in at number 4. Williamson destroyed conventional guitar playing with Iggy and the Stooges and created proto-punk's most violent sound. His work on the album Raw Power influenced both punk and metal equally. Williamson's Les Paul guitar, played through overdriven Marshall amplifiers, produced distorted chaos that sounded dangerous and uncontrolled. Hetfield discovered Raw Power as a teenager, and his entire musical worldview changed forever immediately. Williamson's playing on songs like Search and Destroy and Death Trip combined blues foundation with pure sonic assault. His guitar tone was harsh, aggressive, and years ahead of its time. Williamson played with controlled violence that sounded wild but stayed perfectly locked with the drums. Hetfield loved how Williamson made guitar sound threatening and genuinely dangerous. What made Williamson essential was his complete rejection of traditional rock guitar rules. He created new vocabulary for aggressive guitar that influenced metal directly. Raw Power became one of Metallica's biggest influences, and Williamson's guitar approach shaped thrash metal's aggressive character significantly. Glenn Tipton and K.K. Downing from Judas Priest share the number 3 position. These two guitarists created Judas Priest's twin guitar attack and established metal's definitive sound. Their harmonized lead parts and synchronized rhythm playing influenced every metal band that came after them. Tipton and Downing played Flying V and Les Paul guitars through walls of Marshall amplifiers, creating the ultimate metal tone. Hetfield studied Priest records obsessively and learned that having two rhythm guitarists creates unstoppable power. What made them impossible to replace was their invention of metal's twin guitar approach. They created the template that Metallica and every thrash band followed afterward. Judas Priest showed Hetfield that Metallica needed two guitarists playing rhythm together for maximum heaviness and impact. Their complete understanding that metal needs rhythm guitar power above everything else shaped how thrash metal bands would structure themselves. Dave Mustaine takes the number 2 spot. Dave co-founded Metallica and wrote several of their early classic songs before leaving to form Megadeth. His angular, aggressive riffing style influenced thrash metal's development enormously. Mustaine's rhythm playing combined punk speed with metal precision and jazz-influenced chord voicings. Hetfield learned directly from Mustaine during Metallica's earliest days, and their collaboration created thrash metal's foundation. Mustaine's work on songs like The Four Horsemen and later Megadeth classics like Holy Wars showcased complex rhythm playing and unconventional riff structures. His Jackson guitars produced sharp, cutting tones that were perfect for technical thrash metal. Mustaine pushed Hetfield to play faster and tighter. Their creative tension produced some of metal's greatest early songs. What made Mustaine crucial was his role in creating Metallica's sound and his continued influence through Megadeth. He challenged Hetfield constantly to improve and innovate. Despite their complicated history and well-known conflicts, Mustaine's influence on Hetfield's playing remains undeniable and permanent. At number 1 sits Malcolm Young from AC/DC. Malcolm Young became James Hetfield's ultimate guitar hero and who Hetfield considers the greatest rhythm guitarist who ever lived. His work with AC/DC proved that rhythm guitar could be the most important element in rock music. Young's Gretsch guitar produced tones that were simple, powerful, and absolutely perfect for each song. Young never played solos or sought the spotlight for himself. He understood deeply that great bands need unshakable rhythm foundations. Hetfield studied Young's right-hand technique endlessly and tried to match his consistency and power in his own playing.
What made Young impossible to replace was his absolute dedication to rhythm guitar perfection for 40 years. He played the same parts the same way every single night, without any variation or decline in quality. Young showed Hetfield that rhythm guitar is the most important job in any band. Young's influence on Metallica's entire approach to music was absolutely profound and permanent. His death left a hole in rock music that can never truly be filled. James Hetfield's list of favorite guitarists proves that mastering rhythm guitar requires dedication, discipline, and respect for the fundamentals of playing. These guitarists all understood that serving songs and anchoring bands matters much more than achieving personal glory or fame. They focused on being the foundation that allowed their bands to build great music. Each guitarist on this list brought something unique to Hetfield's understanding of what rhythm guitar could be. From punk's raw aggression to metal's crushing heaviness to rock's perfect simplicity, these musicians showed that rhythm guitar is not just accompaniment, but the driving force of great music. What stands out most about Hetfield's choices is how much he values consistency, power, and dedication over flashiness and technical showmanship. He learned from guitarists who understood their role in the band and executed it perfectly night after night, year after year. These weren't players trying to steal the spotlight with extended solos or complicated techniques. They were musicians who knew that keeping the rhythm tight and the power strong was the most important contribution they could make. Malcolm Young at number 1 makes perfect sense when you understand Hetfield's philosophy. Young embodied everything Hetfield believes about rhythm guitar. He played with absolute precision, never wavered in his commitment, and understood that his job was to be the unshakable foundation upon which AC/DC built their legendary sound. For Hetfield, who built his career on being Metallica's rhythm guitar anchor, Young represented the absolute ideal of what a rhythm guitarist should be.